And now, on location in California, Peter Graves.
George Smith Patton remains our image of what a general should look like, how a general should act. The scowl, the confidence, the profanity. Patton never failed to live up to his nickname, Old Blood and Guts. Welcome again as A&E celebrates 10 years of biography with 10 remarkable lives. Tonight, the man who is often called America's greatest soldier, General George Patton. And joining us is a guest with some very special insight into General Patton. We're here in Malibu with George C. Scott, who earned an Academy Award as Best Actor for his portrayal of Patton in the famous 1970 movie. George, welcome. Glad you could be with us.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Playing General Patton seems like it would be the role of a lifetime, of course. What was the most difficult aspect of Patton himself to capture?
It was the role of a lifetime. You don't get those very often, that's for sure. I think the differences, the variations, the colors in his personality, black one time, white one time, up and down, hot and cold. He was a difficult man to pigeonhole, and that was difficult to capture.
Well, he wrote himself that the leader of men must be an actor. Now, did he know that he was playing a role himself?
I believe he did. There's a section in the movie you may recall where Paul Stevens, who was playing his aide, Colonel Codman, says to him, "General, they don't know whether you're acting or not." And he says, "It's not important for them to know. It's only important for me to know."
Now, is he misunderstood in any way, or was he just really as tough and cantankerous as our image of him is?
Well, I think he was despised by a number of people, but those who were with him and were on his side were definitely on his side, and they followed him religiously.
All right, thank you for that. We'll be talking again throughout the program. And now A&E presents our biography of General George S. Patton, a man who had just one purpose in life: to go to war.
For George Patton, the most important explosion of the nasty Sicilian campaign would come not from a gun, but from a glove.
You were just a teenager when Patton was making headlines in the Second World War. I was just a teenager when Patton was making headlines in the Second War. Do you remember at that time reading about him, hearing about him?
I wasn't very militarily or politically inclined at all. I think I was 14 when Pearl Harbor occurred. My knowledge of him came much, much later when I started to research and study. I must have read well over a dozen books on him and saw a lot of film and things. That's when I became interested.
Mm-hmm. Was he a military genius?
I don't think there's any question about it as far as movement and armor go. Mm-hmm. I think there are those who would have to agree with that worldwide. Any historian would have to say that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our biography of Patton will continue in a moment. We're here again in Malibu with actor George C. Scott. When you researched the role, did you wind up liking Patton? I mean, would you like to sit down and have a conversation with him?
I would have been honored to have a conversation with him, yes.
The most famous scene in the movie, Patton, is probably that famous incident in his life when he slapped the two soldiers and pulled a gun on one of them.
He did strike two soldiers at two separate occasions in Sicily, for which he was, of course, called upon the carpet dreadfully. It wasn't all that difficult. The man had a short fuse. He could lose his temper.
Well, that incident seemed to rather split the country between his supporters and his critics. It seems that Patton was a man that people either loved or hated. Is there some truth to that?
Yes, I think General Eisenhower tried his desperate best to protect him because he knew of his value as an armored commander. And he couldn't quite protect him all the time, and that, of course, led to his dismissal and his being sent to the paper 15th Army in disgrace. There's no question about it.
All right, thank you again for that, and we will return to our biography of General George Smith Patton. We're here again with a man who remains our image of General Patton, the Academy Award-winning actor George C. Scott. George, there is a sense that Patton died at the right time just after the war. I don't know that that's the way to say it, but I mean, can you picture General Patton living on and holding a desk job in the Pentagon?
No, I would have liked to, of course, seen him go on and perhaps retire with all of his glory. It was a sadness, and there's the famous quote, a soldier should die from the last bullet of the last battle of the last war. He died ignominiously, according to his lights.
He called the Russians savages, indicating that he would not have been, let's say, the ideal diplomat.
He was not diplomatic at all, never was. It was one of Eisenhower's problems with him, as well as other people. No, he said what was on his mind, and sometimes, very often, at the wrong places to the wrong people. But it's part of his charm.
Indeed. How do you think he should be remembered?
Just precisely for what he was. A professional soldier who gave everything he could to his profession, all out, 100%, all the time. And he should be remembered for that. He deserves it.
George Scott, thank you for helping us celebrate 10 years of biography. It's really been a pleasure to be here with you.
Lovely. Thank you, Peter.